Become Learning, the podcast where the hosts are warm and fuzzy, even if the weather isn't. And the topics are piping hot, but slightly undercooked. This is Season 2, Episode 8 or 38 overall, recorded Saturday, March 13th. I'm your host, Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis. Down below me, Cody Stratman, also known as Psychonitrous or Zito Valder, depending on the game. To my... that direction, because it appears differently on the screen and I don't want to think about it, Charlie Stifler, also known as Mjolnir. And then down in the corner, because everybody puts him in the corner, Seeker4761, also
everybody
known
puts
as
Baby
Colton
in the corner.
Roper.
There's no Swayze to protect him.
Baby just lives in the corner.
I just want to dance, damn it.
So yeah, how is everyone doing on this fine Saturday day?
Fucking
Enjoying
freezing.
snowpocalypse.
Freezing as shit.
It's
I hate it.
Aw, it snowed in Tucson.
Yes.
Aw.
It's cold.
That should be
It's
nice.
in Denver, which is where snow is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, not
this
2 to
shit
3
is
feet.
not supposed to happen.
But don't worry, like we'll throw you a benefit concert. You know,
You
we will
should.
rebuild
We're
Tucson.
This has happened twice. Twice this year. That's ridiculous. It doesn't happen like it normally only happens like once every 3 or 4 years, and it's happened fucking twice.
But don't
Move
worry,
down
global
here.
climate change is not real.
Right. So,
It's too cold.
it's really
does
nice
anyone
here in
else
Alaska.
see...
I mean, not that nice, but
Oh,
it's
it must be nice.
sunny. We've got like 3 feet of snow. It's beautiful outside. Yeah,
We almost have 3 millimeters.
and I bet people are going crazy and
Millimeters.
off the road. Like here
It's
they're driving.
it's already
fine.
melted. It's already melted. So. It melted at like
It's
8 a.m. this morning.
What are you complaining about again?
It's still cold.
Aw.
It's below. It's like
Baby
50
wants his
degrees.
blanket.
50. I live in the desert.
There's
Yeah,
a reason
no.
why we put you in the corners because you're acting like a baby right now.
I have nothing to say to that. Well
So-
said.
to end this, I do have one aside. Anytime I see snow on cactuses, like behind Seeker's head right now, I think of Search for Spock, the movie.
Yeah.
Genesis.
As long as
planet.
the planet isn't doing the same thing that planet is doing, we're all good.
Yeah. Or we need to find the person that is linked with the planet and, like, fix them quickly. So anyway, this is a normal episode. If you watched our Rantastic last week, this is just a normal episode, but should still be good. Cody this week is going to tell us about how the Air Force lost the instructions. So I guess they can't RTFM anymore.
Not for this, nope.
R.I.P.
And Colton is going to tell us that solar-powered slugs can lose most of themselves and still be found. There's so much in there that I have questions about.
Just a bunch of slugs saying hallelujah or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned. Charlie's gonna talk to us about how shit is getting dark, but explosively dark, which is terrifyingly exciting. Sounds
Yeah.
like.
And then Brandon is going to tell us about the depreciation of free, which I'm hoping doesn't pertain to Epic Game Store's horrific, if not utterly self-destructive tangent of always having a free game that's, okay, good. That was going to
Nope,
piss me
it's
off.
not that. Keep
Okay.
getting your free games on Epic Games.
Okay, good. Because
I'm like
I hate
30
them,
now.
and I will happily take games from them for free to just sit in my library that I'm not installing yet.
I'm hoping to collapse the company by keep accepting their free games. Like, hopefully
It's a
they
terrible
will go
business
under.
model, Epic.
Either
Terrible business
go
model.
under or create a better system. Read about it in a
Well.
few months in Tech Pirate. How much I hate that.
As I've said
Well-
before, is Valve's not much better. They're all terrible
They
in some way.
they are.
But at least we were the early adopters with Valves.
Well, Valve sucked when it
So-
first came out. It
Yeah.
was terrible. I've got a GIF that I might put here.
I'm just kidding.
GIF, you son of a
Nobody
bitch.
is a
I know it's
choosy
GIF.
mom here.
I know it's GIF. Graphical, blah, blah, blah. Words.
Anyway, Brandon,
Yeah.
sorry for the off topic. You can rally us back in. Get us cats back herding.
Tell us about how the Air Force can no longer read the manual because they lost it.
So, when you have like a model or like a brand new Lego set, I'm sure some of us can relate to either of those. And you're like, cool, I've got the model. I can build these. Well, imagine, it's like 30 years later and you want to build, or maybe there's a part of it that, you have to rebuild of that model.
Are we talking NASA or are we talking the Air Force? Because if it's NASA, I know exactly what we're talking about.
We're talking the Air Force.
Damn it.
And we're talking about a $2 billion plane that apparently they...
B-2 Spirit?
Yep.
Oh.
Yes.
So
You
They
said
lost
$2
the
billion,
instructions
and
on how to
that's
build
the price
a
of that
B2.
plane.
All right, one of you at a time, please.
You said
You're
B2,
hurting my brain.
And I knew...
We're good.
Charlie.
This is going to
You're
turn
hurting my
into
brain.
the Letterkenny. This is going to turn into the Letterkenny episode.
Oh, my
Where it's just
God.
gonna be,
How are you
"How are you
now?
now?
Good new, good new.
Finding you.
38
Just go.
episodes, and we still can't do it. I love it.
Okay, you said B2, or you said 2 billion, and I knew that was the price point of the B2 Spirit because that is like my number 3 plane.
Yeah. Because it's black and wingy.
Stealth.
Yeah.
Futuristic.
Rather than
Yeah,
pointy
it
with
was
engines.
the future when
it's-
I was a child.
Yep. And now Mjolnir.
No, you hurt my brain when you said they lost the instructions on how to build the B2. But I was thinking that you were talking about the boosters, the engines for the Saturn V, because they forgot how to build those too.
Oh.
Yep.
Was that
Yeah.
also Northrop Grumman? Or Grumman?
Yeah. Well, it was
Okay.
Northrop before. It was Northrop and Grumman.
So yeah, I guess that company just has a bad track record at this point for losing manuals. Now, granted, one of those is like super classified top secret, and the other one I'm pretty sure isn't.
No, it's still like the booster rocket to Saturn V. It gets you 3/4 of an ICBM.
No, okay. So yeah, maybe both.
Build it in a
yeah.
weekend if you had it.
But it's the heat exchanger specifically on the B2 that now the military is trying to bid out for companies to basically take it apart to see how it works, to build a manual for
Reverse
it.
engineer.
Yes, they've got to reverse engineer it. So rather than, China or Russia reverse engineering our aircraft, we're reverse engineering our own aircraft because somebody lost the manual.
God damn.
How many goddamn
wonder-
billions do we spend on this shit, honestly?
Well, there's 19 B2s slated for combat, and then there's one that the article that I read was like differentiated out 19 and 1. So, 20
They crashed
times 2
one.
billion is
They crashed one. That's why there's only 19.
Oh, for the movie Broken Arrow. Yeah.
No, they didn't crash it for the movie.
So $40 billion.
Yeah.
So
in
when you
case
say they lost it, like, what does that mean specifically?
So, because of the secretive nature of this, we don't really know. We know that they don't have it because they're trying to reverse engineer it. But we don't know if they don't have it because they purposely destroyed it or because a subcontractor no longer exists and built that, or take your guess. So, yeah.
Sitting underneath someone's table as a level.
I just found this, and I knew it wasn't going to be
damn
a super long part on the show, but I just found it really intriguing. that, if you've got the skills to take stuff apart, hit up the U.S. Air Force and see if you can write them a new manual.
We're gonna see rich rebuilds, like declassified 20 years from now. Okay, look, here's the heat exchanger off of a B2 Spirit, and I'm gonna be disassembling it and remaking the instruction manual for the U.S. Air Force.
Well, you'll see it on like Craigslist in some freaking like full manual for a heat exchanger, B2 bomber, $3,000 OBO. Who knows?
$1 million.
Given the cost
That's
of
the
the
dumbest
B2,
thing.
that would be a pretty good deal, I'd think.
Small potatoes.
Yeah.
So what'll be interesting is if a company goes to tear it apart and figure out, how to rebuild it and make the manual for it. If while they're in there, they're also like, hey, by the way, like a small change here would increase the performance of this piece of equipment.
Potentially. They're trying
I
to
would hope so.
modernize. They go through and modernize all these aircraft, so it wouldn't surprise me. Like, if you look at the F-15 program, was it? Yeah, they're still using F-15s because they can basically make them better, but it's still
Missile
the same
trucks.
airframe. It's just better versions of it.
Yeah.
So who knows? Like, that'd be cool if we could get a lot of life out of the B2.
I've come up with a theory recently that there's no such thing as an adult. Really, we're all just
Children with
big children.
bills.
And then you talk about the Air Force losing a very important, bit of machinery manual. You're like, we have no fucking clue what we're doing. None of us do.
We're children with bills is all we are.
I
I'm
completely
looking for
agree.
an adultier adult. I hope it happens someday.
No, screw that. Wow. I remember thinking adults were boring when I was a kid. So, no, I don't want to be one of those people.
Confirmed.
Yep. Seconded.
Anyway, I think it's time for Colton to tell us about slugs not losing themselves or glowing or being solar powered.
I'm more interested in the solar powered aspect of this slug.
Maybe
Well, to
they're
me-
not animals. Maybe
mean,
they're
is it-
plant slugs. Like,
Well, or is it like the people of Gunnison County, where when you have like 2 overcast days in a row, they just like start bumping into each other because it's like they just lose their goddamn minds.
confirmed.
So fucking true. Well, we're talking a real creature here, so there's no real tech involved. So it's kind of let's get into it. Kind of a short one, but have you guys heard of the Sacoglassa?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, I
was talking about it with my wife the other day.
I don't even
Yeah.
have to explain what this is, so we're just gonna.
Right.
But for those who don't know, I'm assuming our 7 listeners out there, the Sacoglassa is a
9.
class of gastropod marine mollusks. Like I said, we all knew it, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
So there are 2 specific types of Sacoglassa that have an incredible regeneration ability. So when we think of animal generation, what do you guys think of?
Lizards. There's a certain lizard or salamander or something where you can grab its tail and it will auto-cleave its tail.
Legitimately thought you said wizards.
I also legitimately thought you said wizards.
I mean, it applies to
Sorry.
wizards
You're a wizard,
too.
Harry.
if you grab a wizard's tail, it will regrow that sucker back.
I was thinking starfish and their arms regrow.
Yeah, those are pretty commonly.
I was thinking the axolotl, how you can remove one of its limbs and it regrows the limb.
Yeah. I can also think of like an earthworm. You can remove part of it and it will survive, kind of thing. So yeah, the pretty common ones. However, there are 2 species of sea slugs of these Sacoglassas that have been found that take that to an entirely new level. Scientists found that these sea slugs actually have the ability to completely sever their head from their body, and the head can survive and even completely regenerate a brand new body, organs and all.
Wow.
Okay, so when the body that it leaves behind, does the body regenerate a head?
No.
Or is it just
it's
fuck
only-
this body, I'm done with it, time for a new
It's-
one.
And
Exactly.
Brandon
That is-
right now is like, sign me up.
I want to let's
Fuck
fund
this
this.
body.
We need to know.
No.
So in this case, the former body can still quote unquote survive for weeks or even months after the decapitation as well, but it can't regenerate a head. So yeah, it's freaking weird. It's pretty cool. It is said that this is the most complex example of autonomy found in the animal kingdom yet. In this case, autonomy refers to when a creature has parts separated from its body, and the parts keep going on by themselves. So, like a chicken, the classic chicken with the heads cut off, that is not technically an autonomous creature because it can't actually survive by itself. There are studies that have been done where, like I think a scientist like the 50s did that, and they were able to keep the body of the chicken alive for a few months by like feeding it nutrients and water through its neck hole. But I know, scientific.
It's
neck
called
hole.
an esophagus,
Yes,
not
we're
a
calling it
neck hole.
Neck hole.
This is likely.
You use the scientific term for the slug, but then you go neck hole.
See, the thing about the English language is you fuckers knew exactly what I was talking about. So go screw all of you guys. I'm not the medical side. I'm not the that's you guys. You guys be boring adults. I'm talking
it is
neck
a
holes.
stoma or an ostomy if it's a hole.
Neck hole. So, let's get to the solar powered part of this, though. So, something I learned that is that many Sacoglossum mollusks, slugs, actually have the ability to photosynthesize sunlight. Apparently, they steal the chloroplasts from the algae that they eat in the sea, and then those chloroplasts, are incorporated into their skin, which allows for energy to be created in the same way as plants. That's the solar-powered part. But those chloroplasts generally last a couple of days or so. So anytime a slug actually eats this algae, it will keep refilling their chloroplasts, I guess. Hang on. Gotta love our one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could just eat it to become solar powered.
Yeah. So if the head of the slug is actually able to get food, or the algae, within a couple of days of being removed, it can actually survive on just the chloroplasts it absorbs. This gives it time to start regenerating a new body, which turns out to be an exact copy of the old one in about 3 weeks or so. Pretty freaking wild.
So, why is this something that happens through like an attack, or is this something that it
Scientists
just
don't
decides?
know. It just says
This sounds
"Fuck off
like
to
a
this
classic.
body."
It sounds like a classic example of fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and again, they do it on purpose, which is kind of baffling for obvious reasons. No one really knows how or why they do it. Scientists seem to believe that it's stem cells that are actually located in the neck of the slug that allow for this particular ability, specialized whatever stem cells that they have. But why?
How long does
Again,
a slug
they
live?
just- Yeah.
Well, what's interesting
gonna-
is so this seems to be something that happens with younger slugs, is what they've discovered. Because I think it was a Japanese scientist that actually discovered this. It was just one day they were looking in an aquarium and they just saw this head just kind of swirling around of a former slug, just kind of fucking around in a goddamn aquarium. They're like, it's alive. So yeah, it's a total fucking accident that they were able to discover this.
So this isn't like a immortal jellyfish where it actually goes back to a juvenile state in order to
No.
continually live forever.
Yeah, from what they've found so far, again, only younger slugs can really do this, and specifically slugs that are actually able to reproduce. Once a slug gets to a certain age, they've found that it doesn't have this ability anymore, which kind of sort of makes sense if you think about it. The leading idea as to why they actually just do this is if they like sense a parasite in their body, it's just safer to just remove that parasite entirely and just build a new one.
Wow.
And pretty fucking metal if you really think about it. So
Just a head in a jar.
Yeah, so they don't really fucking know. They're just assuming, but pretty fucking cool that I discovered. I think 3 or 4 times they've found that a slug can generally do this within its lifetime. After a certain point, it just kind of loses the ability again, because these creatures don't live terribly long. I think maybe 2 years is what I've seen. Some of these slugs, which I mean is long for a slug, but they're not immortal. But I don't know. Maybe they're trying to be. It's pretty fucking cool, actually. And again, this was discovered like in the last 2 months, so nature finds a way, I guess.
Hey, maybe because of this, we'll have that, that healing gel from Spinward Fringe, or a lot of the sci-fi novels where they've got, you got a really bad, like, life-threatening illness.
Just spray some of this shit on. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just need some Bacta.
Here's some slug stuff.
Slug oozing.
Well,
So
it's
just grab a
Slurm.
slug,
Slurm is
squeeze it
good.
out. Slurm.
Congratulations, you're now solar power if you eat plankton.
God damn it.
I was gonna say there's an anime series on Netflix, and I wish I could
It's
remember
anime,
what it
right?
is,
Not the one that
Yeah.
starts with an H. Sorry, go on.
It's anime. And there's mechs, and they're surviving on this like floating ship thing in space. But like one of the weird things between like the main protagonist versus like everyone else is he's like 100% human and requires higher caloric intake, because the rest of the civilization has basically incorporated photosynthesis, so that they actually require less caloric intake to grow
Like
and
stuff
and
like
live
that would
and
make
thrive.
sense if you could somehow genetically engineer that. Like that type of ability would make you sense on like Mars or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like that would make a fucking fuck ton of sense if they could somehow do it without destroying humanity, which
Yeah.
I guess
Science.
that's iffy.
Details. Details.
But I think let's move away from slugs and Charlie, what's going on with the dark? Why is it exploding?
All right. So, as you guys probably know, actually, no, I'm going to pose this as a question. What percent of all matter in the universe is traditional matter, and what percentage of it is dark matter?
I think 75% dark matter, 25% normal matter.
I think it's even less. I want to say like 13% real, 57 or 60% dark, and then the other shit is like dark energy because they don't fully know it yet. It's kind of what I've seen.
Cody?
I was going to go 90% dark and 10%.
You guys are all
somewhere
in the
there.
right ballpark, but it is 80-20 as best estimates right now.
Oh, okay.
So 20% of all matter in the universe is made up of normal matter. So your stars, your planets, your asteroids, your gases, all of the elements that we can think of that are in your periodic table of elements, those are all traditional matter. 80% of the rest, or the rest of it, the other 80%, is dark matter. And dark matter is still theoretical. We can't prove that it exists, but it balances the equation for a lot of the unknowns. So it's an invisible. It doesn't emit energy. It doesn't refract energy. It doesn't absorb energy. What it does is it causes a lensing effect with gravity. If there's enough of it in a place, and you're looking at another mattered object on the other side of it, you can have a lensing effect, and that gravitational effect is the only reason why we can even think that we see some of it. So what's interesting is they're theorizing that there are such a thing as dark stars. They're theorizing, and they're almost certain that there are dark galaxies. And so a dark star would happen when a cloud of dark matter is in close proximity to a cloud of regular matter, but it is not the interaction between regular matter and dark matter that is causing the radiation that would be traditionally considered a star. They would also not form a tightly packed sphere like we're expecting in a star. What we'd actually be seeing is the neutrinos colliding to each other and annihilating each other, so dark matter annihilating dark matter. And if there is traditional matter close by, it can heat that traditional matter. So what you'll actually see is not going to be visible spectrum, it'll be infrared or in the gamma radiation spectrum. So that's theoretically possible. But dark galaxies are almost confirmed at this point, because 90% of our galaxy is actually theoretically dark matter. It would create a large halo around the galaxy, and it might actually be the reason why galaxies form in the first place. So this dark matter halo exerts enormous gravitational forces, and it might actually be the reason why the gases that form stars and other bodies actually assemble in the first place. So the traditional model of the world, or universe as it were, is that the gases are attracted to each other, and as they gain mass, they are more and more attractive. But the initial collision of gas is due to dark matter pushing it together. Yeah, so we don't know shit about this. We're very much in the dark, as it were. But in December of 2016, an antimatter particle, or a neutrino, collided with Antarctica. And I'm going to have to put on my glasses for this part because I can't read my notes without them. So a regular either an antineutrino or a regular neutrino crashed into an electron, so a normal electron for regular matter, and it created a W boson, okay, which is another theoretical subatomic particle, and it released 6.3 peta-electron volts, which is the same as 6.3 quadrillion electrons accelerated by a single volt. Or, another way of saying it is 6,300 mosquitoes traveling at 1 mile an hour, or one mosquito traveling at 8.2 times the speed of sound.
That totally
this
clears
is
it up.
that line
Yeah,
right
that
there is the
reference,
exact
yeah,
reason why this is my topic.
I think I'd rather deal with the 63,000 mosquitoes than that one mosquito. Just saying, if I had to have the choice, like definitely, I don't want
who would
that
win in a fight?
mosquito to breed.
What's the best part about this? The whole reason why this is my article is because of that one line in the science journal that I was reading.
Okay, you didn't make that up. That's actually
I didn't make that up. That is actually the math.
I love scientists. I fucking love them. Like, God, they're so cool. Such nerds.
So, 6.3 peta electron volts is 450 times more energy than the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, in CERN, can make after its upgrades. So this is not a small event. And it happened in December 2016, and we only just proved that it happened because of a quantum cascade in molecules in the area. And it was measurable by space and by ground. And
see, I thought you were going to say it's because somebody got bit by a mosquito.
No, but this is a just ludicrous amount of energy that was released by a single particle colliding with an electron. So, as you guys may be aware, the solar system is not stationary. We are not just spinning around the sun, but the actual sun is traveling through space, and we are kind of orbiting and trailing it behind almost. I just hope we don't accidentally stumble into a bunch of antimatter, because that would be big. That would be big. And we were lucky it hit something like Antarctica, because I don't even want to imagine what the electromagnetic interference would have been if it hit, I don't know, New York, Japan, Tokyo. Yeah, it would be bad. It would always hit Tokyo, though, because, movies.
Everything always happens Tokyo first.
Everything hits Tokyo. That's how we get Godzilla. One of these antimatter particles hits an iguana in the South China Sea, and then we get Godzilla.
You want Godzilla? That's how we get Godzilla.
I don't know why I've never actually looked this up, but from that description of, the Earth trailing the sun in a corkscrew, do we know if it's the North Pole that is the forward part, or if it's the South Pole that's the forward part of that?
I don't know the answer to that. I do not know the answer to that.
Is that...
I
will find out the answer to that.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
think
really
about-
weird.
Think about how the sun. Think of the plane of the galaxy. The sun going around that plane, and then. No, that's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
because it would seem like, and again, this is my non-understanding of this. It seems like whatever the front is would be more susceptible to collisions, but this is on such a different scale than we're used to thinking on that may not be accurate
can't even
or
fathom it.
anything. But just
It's all relative anyway.
interesting. Yeah. So yeah,
Science?
either way fascinating. Yeah, well, we can put that in the notes so you don't have to try and look that up right now.
Yeah.
I
All right. To be continued.
yeah.
All right, Brandon. Depreciation of free. I always love things that are free fitty. That's my favorite price for
Free-fitty.
anything.
Jesus.
Yeah, unfortunately,
rice.
this is not a fun topic like everyone else's,
Mm.
but it's important nonetheless. So many companies have done this. Start a free tier of service they provide as a gateway to then get people to upgrade, only to dial it back later when they offer... Let me retry that. Only to dial back what they offer in the free version months or years later to squeeze people into the paid service after coming to rely on the features of the free version. LastPass is simply the latest service to fall to this practice. Other sites and podcasts have covered this in great detail, so I'm just going to hit the high notes. Detail.
Detail.
That's a new word.
Hey,
Teal.
it's making things more teal. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm all for that.
So, starting March 16th, so 3 days from now, recording, so probably about the time this podcast is going to come out, you'll only be able to access the free tier of LastPass from a single device type. So you can either access it on a mobile device and only from mobile devices, or from a PC and only PCs moving forward. The unrestricted access is $36 a year, which, when there are services out there that do a comparable or better job for free, or at least much cheaper, exactly. It's hard to recommend continuing to use LastPass or upgrading to the LastPass Premium. Parent company LogMeIn has done this type of move in the past. We have actually been affected by it. I can remember how great the Hamachi network was back in the 2005, 2006. Our gaming group used it exclusively to play multiplayer LAN games from the comfort of our own homes and resurrect old games without an online multiplayer all the way up to like 2012. They started limiting speeds between nodes, the number of computers allowed to be connected to the network, and locking those features up behind a paywall. Initially, I coughed up the yearly fee, but even then, the basic level started to get worse after about a year, in an effort to drive users to the premium and enterprise levels. I get that companies have to make money in order to continue operation, but getting back to the topic at hand, $36 a year for what amounts to a pretty basic password management system is just greedy. If you have a bit of know-how and some time, you can easily self-host a password management system. Or if you don't mind paying $1 for the peace of mind not hosting it, like me, there's other options out there. I have enough other services and servers that I do self-host that keep me plenty busy. What really bothers me about this all is it's another reminder that artificial scarcity and aggressive, borderline fear-mongering marketing have become commonplace within the software and computer industry in general. Now, I could turn this into a much bigger rant covering streaming services, broadband providers, cellular providers, computer repair shops, antivirus software, hardware providers, and website hosting, just to name a few of the worst.
Software
But I won't
as
go
a
there
service.
this episode.
Anything that's software as
Yeah.
a service. Yep.
Yeah. So instead, so that we end on a high note, I'm going to leave you with a couple of the best alternatives to LastPass if you too are transferring your passwords elsewhere. On a good note, you can relatively easily export your data from LastPass, and you can export it into a CSV or comma-separated value file, which will import into nearly every other service out there. So Bitwarden is free. They do all the actual hosting and synchronization, and the upgraded tiers are $10 a year.
And I would say just be very careful with that file unless you have it encrypted. Like delete, remove,
download it. So
Yeah.
export it, put it to where you need it, delete it, and then find
burn that hard drive.
not quite, but like download a couple of free Epic Game Store games to overwrite that data sector.
There you go.
Yeah, after it's been deleted.
So yeah, Bitwarden, that's actually what I transferred to today. It seems good so far. I'm just doing the free version just to see how it is. KeyPass is also free. It's open source and self-hosted. Bitwarden is also open source. But KeyPass is self-hosted, so it will require a little bit of DIY. NordPass has a free tier. Premium tier is $35.88 a year, but offers way more features than LastPass, and you can find 50% off links just about everywhere for NordPass. Yeah, so I went with Bitwarden because of its minimal price and no need to fiddle with self-hosting. And yeah, I'm going to use it for a couple weeks and then probably post up something, just a quick write-up on the techpart.net. But if anyone has suggestions for other password managers, I wouldn't mind checking them out and doing a little bit deeper dive on kind of the options that are out there.
Yeah, I've had a lot of, just good experiences with Bitwarden. I've been using it for the past year after I got to a point where I was sick of... I had a schema for passwords that allowed me to use a different password with each website. But what screwed that schema over was different websites having different requirements. So I actually, at one point, I had a spreadsheet, not for the passwords, because that's a terrible thing to do, but for each website's password requirements that would allow me to remember what password I used, because the password requirements were so different and so arbitrary and stupid, like certain banking websites not being able to use certain punctuations. Like,
Special
I
characters,
remember
yeah.
you being very angry about not being able to use like more encrypted than what they were asking. Like you would set
Yep.
a bar so high, but it was too high for their password system.
but it's a
Like
bank.
macro keys.
Yeah.
It was a major credit card company, and you couldn't do that. It's like, what?
There's
Yeah,
What's
just
wrong
if they
with
wanted to
you?
put money into their security side, which
there's a hosting company, a pretty major hosting company that I left in the last year because their password practices do not allow for any special characters, and the max password length is 12 characters.
What the hell?
And it's like, are you serious? Like, that's
Yeah,
just
you could break
begging to
that.
get your shit hacked.
Yeah, if okay, so just for reference for everyone, if you had a password, you don't have to have a password that's like Hacksaws, like H1. You get the point when I making it
Yeah.
all weird.
Doing
the password,
leap speak.
random.
yeah, the
generalization.
password. I'm going to the store and getting ice cream as well as a carburetor for my Ford Mustang, and also after the store, I'm gonna go to the auto shop and go get a puppy. Like that whole sentence as a password is way, way more secure, even without any numbers, any uppercase, any punctuation. But no website will allow you to have that amount of characters.
That
So,
long. Yep.
yeah, but even though it's way more secure.
Yep.
Well, the thing about that's why the special characters are allowed. I mean, because at some point it's overkill. Honestly.
Yeah, true, and it might be a bit thing too.
And,
You're storing more
at
bits.
that point, the weak link, as we've talked in our security episode, was it censorship? What did we talk?
Talk
Was
security.
it security? I don't remember. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we haven't actually
Like
done the censorship
at some point,
episode.
even now, humans are the weak link. That's what people are attacking. They're not brute forcing anything anymore because of at 12 characters with special characters enabled, as well as a capital and everything. I think it's if you brute force it with the most powerful computer, it would still take 1,000,000 years or something stupid like that to actually break into it. So, I mean, yeah, you could have 300 characters, but it's overkill at that point.
Yeah, social engineering works better.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
why with people's safe words, using the town that you were born in is a terrible safe question. The fact that they still allow that is
Oh, yeah.
stupid. Or the high school you
Or-
went to, or
Or yeah,
Your
Mother's
high
Day
school
name, all that,
mascot, or
anything
all
that's
of those
Googleable about you.
secret questions. Yeah. Because most people would be like, I see so many of those Facebook, like, oh, fill this out to, like someone will post it up and it'll be like, where were you born? And what's your favorite animal? And like all this stupid stuff. And it's supposed to like be this fun thing that people pass around to learn more about people. And I'm just looking at it going, someone did that to fucking social engineer someone.
Yep.
And they are just so not thinking about that
Oblivious.
that then they forward it on. And it's just become a thing where now I could go to just about anyone's Facebook and be like, oh, okay, so Becky was born in Crest Butte and likes dogs, and her pet goldfish when she was 3 was named Sam.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
you're probably
There's a
somewhere you
website
can
out
find
there
that
that
kinda
she
shit.
used those as a secret question.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's horrible that's the backup to prove that you are who you are, and that there are still so many websites that yes allow for two-factor authentication, but it's SMS.
Oh.
I can clone an SM or a SIM card, stick it into my phone, and get all the same texts as someone else.
Yeah, or if you're
Well,
traveling
again, it's-
abroad and have to spend $10 to get a damn text message because you have to go back on AT&T when you've got the cheap local SIM, and the bank's like, "Oh, nope, you got to do that." And then, yeah, you've got your crazy friend screaming in the back of the minivan while we're driving through Thailand, yelling because Bangkok Airways won't allow him to buy the ticket. Well, it's not Bangkok Airways. It was stupid. The bank website. I'm the crazy.
This is
one.
not a rant episode, Cody.
Kind
I
of
can
to
make
kind of go back
any
to another interesting point that you made, Brandon, about the fear mongering and fear marketing that these companies are preying on people who don't fully understand what's going on out there. I mean, in addition to like password managers, which VPNs, like the more I think about the ads for VPNs, it's fucking fear mongering. It's important and you should protect yourself, but it just kind of realized, especially with tax season, at least here in the United States, like I've noticed the actual VPN ads have gone full on like, hey, you're doing your taxes? Oh, they're gonna get it. They're gonna get you.
Doing your taxes online, but you're not doing it securely.
You're doing it wrong. It's fascinating.
Are you
marketing
doing it
standpoint.
sitting in an airport on their open Wi-Fi? If
Yeah.
so,
Or
then use a
Starbucks
VPN.
or McDonald's.
Yeah. But if you're doing it at your house without open Wi-Fi, you're fine.
Hotspot it.
Yeah. If you're on your cellular network, yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting when you start thinking about marketing and how they tend to prey on people from that perspective. And then you also mentioned the fact that people will just throw all their data on social media now. The dichotomy is quite fascinating when you really start thinking about it.
Oh yeah. Like I have some extended family that have, come to me as I'm, fixing their printer or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, do I need, I need to get updated antivirus, and I need to do this, and I need to do that." And it's like,
do I need an
you
air-gapped
check
system?
email.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, "I'm so worried about this." And then I pulled up on their Facebook feed, and I'm like, not if this is the kind of stuff you're going to put on your public Facebook feed.
Yeah.
Like, this is how someone is going to get to you. They're not going to be trying to hack
You're not that
your
important.
computer
Sorry.
through your network connection. And even if they did, they're not going to get anything. Like,
They're gonna get Brandon's.
you're
baby
not
pictures.
who there's after. They're what?
What?
Brandon's baby pictures.
Oh, baby Brandon with that beard. It was only 5 inches long back then when he was 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also want to talk about, kind of your tagline too, the deprecation, or not deprecation, but the depreciation. Of free, of like free trademark, not really free. This isn't free. Yeah,
Or
that's
free
its own-
30-day trial with credit card information.
which means they're going to bill you after 30 days and continue billing you. So they
And
basically
not
want
freaking warn you.
Yeah, it's infinite money. So I have gotten an app just for dealing with reoccurring trials, or just reoccurring billings, just to make sure that it's like, okay, I do have a reoccurring account. It's called TrueBill that I use.
I love TrueBill.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
I fucking love
I've seen
TrueBill.
apps or ads for that.
Yeah.
Is it pretty smart about everything?
Yeah, and you can. There's certain things where you can pay for it, but I don't believe in paying for something that will to get rid of billing. Like no, I'm not doing.
Right.
Like I am willing to give a company money once. Like,
But here's the thing, and I was thinking of, because you've always said this, and it's interesting, but you think about as Brandon said earlier, a company is always going to try and make money. So what's the product if you're doing it for free?
your information.
And especially with TrueBill, because I don't know if anyone knows, but basically you can tie in your bank account information and credit card information to this particular app, and it basically will find all the bills that are coming up. It'll know your paydays. It's actually very smart in how it finds that shit out. But if you're not going to pay for it, you kind of start thinking, like, if for some reason that company goes out of business, because there's other things they got to think long term that I'm starting to kind of realize. And
Yeah,
if it's $3
true.
a month, and especially if it's your data, like,
Yeah, it might be worth it.
I don't know. It's I agree with you in most cases, but when it starts to come to that type of data, you're like, I kind of want that company to keep going, or as long as possible. And I want them to have the money to upgrade their systems as needed and pay cybersecurity experts as well to keep it safe. Not that my $3, because that's what I pay. I pay for a True bill.
Yeah.
But you add that up over thousands of. I mean, I don't know.
I have
it's just something to think about.
I have a different attitude towards reoccurring billing than most people do. And the way that I look at it is you want a slice of infinite money. That you don't want $3 a month, that you want infinite money. Because depending on how long I live, if we get, slugged and we start living forever because of solar power slugs, then really it is infinite money that they're taking from you. So that's why I bought, I'm willing to buy something. I was willing to buy, again, I think I keep pointing this out, but XSplit. I was willing to buy that when I saw that they had a $50 package because, yes, I believe in that. Do I believe that giving them infinite amount of money? No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, and there's certain types of services that should be
I want to add
subscription based.
Sorry, I want to add one thing before I forget about it. And there's a lot of the subscription services that their entire plan is for you to forget that you have it and keep billing you. And that's if I am using something, I am willing to pay for it. And I think really the problem that I have with subscription services, it's the infinite money, but it's the auto bill. If it would not do auto bill and it was an active on my side, like, hey, this is coming up, do you want this again? Like, yes, bill, pay, or no, don't, shut it off, then that would be fine with me. But no, even if you forget about it, it's going to keep going until your credit card number changes. That's
right.
Yeah. Sorry,
that's
go ahead.
predatory practice. That's a predatory practice rather than a beneficial service.
And 99% of companies do the auto bill versus the...
It goes back to the fear-mongering things. Like, yeah, the internet's dangerous, but the stuff that's legal is also kind of dangerous in some ways as well.
Yep.
They're out to get you. They're gonna get you.
So buy my snake oil.
But rather than buying it for $10 today, buy it for $1 a month and we'll keep sending you refills.
Oh my God. Harry is shaving. It's like I know how, I have the least amount of facial hair.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, true. I guess you just keep growing. But I like, in a way, being able to use my razor. Sorry, I'm getting way off topic.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I like having direct control over that, not just being sent stuff all the time.
You mean like a snack box?
Yes. So you do point out something good, and the reason why I have that is because I cannot travel to any of these countries right now, so it goes against my travel budget. But
fair enough.
Well, but I would prefer if I could each month. Yeah, each month I would. Oh yeah, true. Like it is something physical that is coming in that I am eating. But
It is a product.
if I could each month go, yes, send me this, or no, cancel subscription. If it would be like, okay, you didn't respond, we're auto-canceling. Like, that's, again, my preference.
Fair enough.
I think
how
that
billing should
depending
move
on
things.
how many services you have, I think that would get very tedious very quick.
You just need a control panel, some sort of control panel in your bank that has these listed, and you know, once per month you go, done.
Again,
You know what that's going to do, right? It's going to give the bank an
opportunity.
opportunity to charge you a subscription fee for that service.
Yep.
Yeah. No.
They won't even call it a subscription fee. They'll just call it,
Adobe.
service charges.
Bank service transaction.
Sorry, I made
Bank
fun with
servicing
Adobe
fee.
because they've got... Well, that's also why you should bank...
Adobe's freaking terrible.
Yeah, this is another reason you should bank at a credit union or savings and loan and not... Or Charles Schwab and not at Wells Fargo or any of the big ones, because any of the
Charles
big
Schwab
banks...
is huge, dude. It's like the third biggest banking institution in the country.
Well,
Charles Schwab is huge.
Okay, I will say this about Charles Schwab. I have not gotten
Can't
feed
trust anyone
for
named
anything.
Charles.
And when I travel overseas, they refund 100% of my ATM fees. So when I come back from vacation, and like in Thailand where they've got, each time you go to an ATM, it's like 200 baht, so $6 every time you use an ATM. When I get back, it's like, ooh, $100 back in my account from all of those. So
Fair enough.
yeah, if Charles Schwab started charging me a monthly fee or something like that, I'd dump them in a heartbeat.
Fair enough. By the way, the orbital plane, the direction of travel, is the sun is traveling only 30 degrees above the plane of Earth's rotation towards Hercules, the constellation Hercules. So that's the answer to that question, by the way.
So it's kind of
actually
like,
it's
it
traveling
depends.
not quite flat.
Okay, so it's like the plate is traveling like that.
Right. So like it's traveling like that.
Okay, so again, which pole is, that way?
Neither of them.
Above the plane
it's
of
not like
Earth's.
this.
So in our orientation of north and south, it is traveling just above 30 degrees above the equatorial plane.
Okay.
Not equatorial plane,
Okay.
but our offset tilted
Solar
axis.
plane.
Yes,
Okay.
solar plane. Thank you.
Cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have to put a thing. It says timestamp of the answer.
Yeah.
Or
that's a
keep
good thing to end on,
listening
don't
to
you think,
answer.
Brandon?
Yeah.
I absolutely think that is a good thing to end on. That is a interesting factoid.
Yeah.
So, Colton, where can we find you?
My name is Colton Roper. You can find me at twitch.tv/seeker4761. Oh, you guys suck.
I totally forgot. I was
Finally,
like deep in thought.
it finally
over
didn't
the-
happen.
I was ready for it. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna keep going. I try to stream every Tuesday around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Arizona time, depending on how I'm feeling that day. I also have a weekly game review YouTube series that, for some reason, I keep doing. So try to have that done every Thursday, Game Review Thursday. I'm also on, what am I on? Facebook, Twitch, TikTok as well. I'm everywhere.
God.
Check me out.
You kids in your TikTok.
I learned to
It's
TikTok.
fun.
I TikTok? Well, I like TikTok. The more I like give my data to them. The Chinese, they do good things with it. Cody, where can we find you?
Not on TikTok.
Tenet. What is Tencent? No, whatever.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram where I am as Cito Valdez.
Yes.
What? Okay.
Yes.
Thank
you're
you.
Cito Valder on TikTok.
Yep, on Instagram. Yeah, I've been putting some images up there. I need to put this one too that I took. You can find me on YouTube, Strive and Fail. You can find me maybe more than one article on the techpirate.net sometime-ish. And yeah, gaming with these fools. What about you, Charlie?
I am Charlie Stifler, also known as Milnor, spelled wrong, so I always get it right. And then I am starting again on Twitch after spring break, which is this coming week. I get on the road to Tucson, Arizona, Colton, tomorrow evening.
To go play in the snow.
In the middle of the blizzard, I'm driving a minivan to Tucson, Arizona. Anyone see anything wrong with that? No? Okay, cool. Awesome. So you can find me on YouTube at Milnor, Twitch at Milnor, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of them, the same username, all of them. Different passwords, but all the same username. All right, Brandon, take us home.
I am Brandon Vader, also known as Dracanis, or Captain Drac on some games. You can find me lurking on TikTok.
I get so the 4761. That's the amount of mosquitoes from that event that are super powered that he's gonna.
That is going 1 mile an hour.
I'm thinking like when I heard that. I'll just to go back to that real quick. I only thought about like the what was it? Is it what's that? What's that spy movie that's a spoof? Austin Powers, where the guy is like. And like he's screaming for like 5 minutes as something slow as the roller slowly comes to him.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking. Just 6,000 mosquitoes, just like whatever. Sorry.
Sorry, Drac.
You're fine. You can find me on the techpirate.net, on YouTube as the Tech Pirate, and I think I have a few videos under just Brandon Vader. But yeah. Thank you all for joining us on this episode of This Week I'm Learning. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as on YouTube at This Week I'm Learning. For your social media peeps out there, you can find us on Twitter at ThisTWIL. And if you'd like to contact us, you can always send us an email at twil@thetechpirate.net. We'll see y'all next week. I fucking hate you, Charlie.
What are you doing?
I
Read the script, guys.
almost.
I didn't
Almost.
From your social medium poops.
I
didn't
almost
update.
said it. It was.
Oh.
I felt my brain just
there it
like.
I love my job. It's so easy. Oh God, I needed that laugh.
That was good. And you posted up one of those things of me.
Yeah, taken during the podcast. It's good too. You should play it right now and react to it before we stop recording.
Oh, do you want me to
Play it.
as we stop recording or after we stop?
Oh
recording?
no, during, please.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more.
Oh God.
What is wrong? It fucked up.
What the hell?
I am having entirely too much fun with this. Entirely. Your mustache is its own mouth. That is just fantastic.
You're killing him.
Oh,
You're actually
thank-
killing him.
thank God.
This is- Oh, thank God we went an episode
I like
without
how
you
the
mentioning
mouth-
hairy sacks
like-
of water, and I finally
It's
got
like
you back
curving
for it.
on itself. It's so.
Yep. Your mustache had its own mouth.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's really
So
creepy.
dumb.